What's up, Valkyrie mains? And I'm assuming you're all Valkyrie mains now, well versed, well learned on how to play Valkyrie. You could pop in and just drop a 20 bomb real quick with her. If you haven't watched that video, it's in the description or probably somewhere up here on the video as well. Go watch it now. It's like I said, I put a lot of time into it. But anyways, right now I played a lot of arenas. That was mainly what we played actually, and I played tried to play almost every legend. You get to capture quite every legend, and sometimes I forgot to turn the camera on and actually do the recording, so lost some footage, but it's okay. We're still gonna make an arena tier list. I think I know a decent amount about what's going on. All right, so just keep in mind though, this is a preliminary tier list. I have definitely several hours of arenas under my belt, but like every tier list, it's an opinion. I tend to probably have spicier opinions when it comes to new metas and whatnot, because I like to like to try to think outside the box when it comes to picking characters. If you've come from my Twitter, you know I already think that Lifeline and Loba are S tier, but we'll talk about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, this video is going to be slightly less edited than probably the other two videos that I'm putting out. Just kind of want to bang it out, get the information out there. Let's go. Speaking of banging it out, first up we got Bangalore. This is actually a tough one. I've been spending some time thinking about this one because I don't think she's quite S tier, but I kind of almost want to put her in A tier. My opinion might change as I go down as I talk my way out of it. And reason being, the way the economy works in the arena mode, it's actually very difficult to get super kitted weapons. I believe to get a digital threat, you either need to get one off a care package, off a fully kitted care package weapon, or you need to get one, you need to buy a purple weapon. And those are really expensive, and if you buy a purple weapon, that usually leaves you short on your secondary. If you buy a secondary and or meds, it's a big trade-off. So, she's good in the sense that she can really, defensively, she's good in the sense that defensively you can put up really good smokes, and DTs are expensive, so it's not likely that people will actually be able to counter that. So if you like playing Bangalore, I think you're actually going to really thrive in this mode. If they want to choose to counter you, then they do have to spend a lot of money for it, which means they'll have to make trade-offs and sacrifices elsewhere. So I'm kind of teetering on A/B tier. I'm not quite sure with her. I do think Bangalore is one of just like the best characters in the game to just brawl, and because arenas are just straight 3v3 brawling, I think she could be actually placed there pretty safely because of how good she is at fighting. Might be a little bit generous on the A tier, but we'll see. Bloodhound, that's an obvious S tier. Anyone that knows me knows I am very against this character. It's not very fun to play against. I know Alberlelli, when we played, didn't think that Bloodhound was that useful, just use your game sense, but I still think the value of scans being very oppressive in the sense that you can't peek anybody when you're scanned, and being able to buy the Bloodhound ult. I'm not sure what the cooldown on it is exactly, but the Bloodhound ult is very powerful, and like I said, very oppressive, and nothing's really changed. It's a good... The way I really like to kind of picture Bloodhound and describe Bloodhound is, it's a character that not only do you not really need game sense for, your entire team doesn't. If you have bad coordination with your team, or if you're solo queuing, Bloodhound's the type of character that you can pick and instantly have more chemistry with your team than picking any other character, just by virtue of scanning. You scan, you see one person out of position, someone makes the call, or if you're playing with smart enough people, they're just going to pounce on that one person that's out of position and punish them. So Bloodhound, I think, is an obvious S tier. It's just one of the best teamfight characters in the game. Caustic. Didn't actually manage to play any Caustic. I don't know the price of his abilities and whatnot, but I think even irrespective of that, I just don't see Caustic being that great at this. The gas isn't really as punishing as it used to be, and his ult isn't really that great. All he should probably be good at is stalling, but even then, I don't know. I don't think he's the worst character for this. I don't think he's that great. I didn't encounter a Caustic, so that's probably telling you something. I'm gonna go ahead and throw him at B tier. We're just going down the line here. Loba and Lifeline, in the double heavy hitter later. Crypto. Another character I actually didn't get to play, or even, I actually think I saw one Crypto in the playtest, and it did not go very well for them. So I'm not sure how the drone works, because if you don't know, you do have to buy your abilities, and you have to and they do carry over, but I'm not sure exactly how the drone works and how much money it is if it's cheap or expensive. I think a lot of crypto's power is going to depend on that, but either way, I don't see crypto being that just great at this aside from EMP. Again, I don't think he's the worst character on this list for arenas, but maybe put him in C for crypto. And you know what, I'm actually going to just get rid of, go ahead and get rid of these rows, because I don't think we need to go much further. F is pretty much, I would never pick them. Yeah, C, I think C is pretty solid. C for crypto. EMP is still EMP, but his overall recon is just not really necessary. So, yeah, I guess his final words, his EMP is what's saving him. Fuse. Don't remember seeing too many fuses. I definitely didn't get to try him out either, but oh man, it's tough because I don't know. I think there's a nade cap. I think you can only have 3 grenades around. Maybe that's different on Fuse. At least it felt that way, because I remember I would buy 3 arc stars, and even though I'd have money, I wouldn't be able to buy nades on other characters. But his Q is borderline useless. The only thing I'd see you be buying or playing him for is his ult, which isn't really that great in a 3v3 scenario anyway. He's more of a third-party legend. I'm actually just going to go ahead and throw him in the F tier, and it's not just because his first name, or his name starts with F. It's just he's bad. The more I think about it, I just don't. You're trolling if you pick him and you're trying hard. Gibraltar. This one I had to think about for a little bit, because bubble fights, at least when we got into like much sweatier games, much more high skill games, bubble fights didn't seem to be that common, because I think people are a lot less reluctant to just go ahead and full send the bubble. People play a lot more, from the little bit that I played, people definitely play a little bit more reserved. They're only really pushing really big advantages. But I'm gonna put him at S tier. One of the big reasons why I think he's still S tier, he's not a character that can buy his ult every round. I do know that. I think it's like a 2 or 3 round cooldown that he can actually use it. But gold bag is really cheap. So I think all characters that can carry a gold bag are naturally a little bit higher in tier, or that you would want to carry a gold bag. Gibraltar is one of them. I believe gold bag is only 250, and for reference, like, I think one of the cheapest guns is like an Eva, and it's 250. A wingman is 500. So you don't really need the inventory space. That's pretty irrelevant, but the gold bag I think is really strong. Domes are still really strong, and if you are using Gibraltar and you do get his ult, and the other team isn't, obviously, if there is no enemy Gibraltar, his ult does really well. And I think he's also very good actually on the map Phase Runner, which is the one that's super wide open, has the 2 Wraith portals. It's a very wide open map, very long range oriented. I think he's very good at resetting his team on that, making even if the team happens to get an off angle on you and they do a lot of damage, he's a character obviously that can put you back into where you need to be and pick people up. Probably not that as good on Party Crashers. It's a much more close quarter centered map. If somebody gets picked, it's going to be hard to get them up no matter what. But I still think with Gun Shield, his Dome Shield, and his ult every now and then, I mean, he's still just one of the best teamfight characters in the game, especially now that Peacekeeper is back. That also bumps him up because he is the king of Jiggle Peak weapons, and Peacekeeper, it feels as good on him as it always did, and it still has the choke, so just many reasons that it's still buffing him. Horizon. Now this one might be a pretty spicy one. I think if this was the Season 8 patch, but with arenas, I think I'd put her at S tier, but I think I have to put her at A now, because she did get nerfed. If you're watching this video before Season 9 is actually out, Horizon did get nerfed pretty hard in terms of her Q. It now doesn't feel like you're really being grav lifted. It feels like you're swimming through it. It's really slow. The strafe speed is really slow in it. You can't stay at the very top for that long. I believe it's like a second or a second and a half, and it'll throw you out. So her Q is massively nerfed, and I don't think it's as good for this. Like I said, if this was Season 8 Horizon, she would be nuts, because you could get crazy angles in the air just sitting up there all day with your Spitfire. But Her Q is not that good offensively anymore in terms of actually fighting and healing in it. You can get beamed out of her Q pretty easily now. But the reason I'm putting her at A still is she's got a pretty small hitbox, but mainly Black Hole is still one of the best teamfight ultimates in the game. In fact, I believe I have a clip where I didn't see too many Horizons, but I had a Horizon on my team, and she Black Holed like 2 of the enemy team, while we also revolted them and all this other scummy stuff, which I'm sure will be rolling the clip by the time Revenant comes around. Horizon she still has one of the best teamfight ultimates in the game. Arc Stars are pretty expensive. They're the most expensive nades, so that does hurt her a little bit, I think. They're 100 crafting metals each. I believe frag grenades are 75 and thermites might be 75 or 50. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember at the time of this recording. But A tier because her lift isn't as useful anymore, but her Black Hole is still really good. And now we get to, in my opinion, some really, really spicy ones. I do think Lifeline is S tier. And I know you're going to call me crazy because she doesn't have Res Shield anymore. A lot of people are upset. They think that she got like absolutely gutted. And that may be true in the Battle Royale. I haven't played her in the Battle Royale for the playtest. I was just kind of spamming Valkyrie for the Valkyrie guide so I can get footage for that. But Lifeline has some very unique strategies that I think that most people don't know yet, because obviously this hasn't been public. If you don't know, I will go quickly through her changes. She lost her Res Shield, but she can res 2 people at once with her drone now. And before people go too crazy, yes, Lifeline can cancel the res. I wish that functionality was more in the hands of the person getting res rather than the Lifeline, but Lifeline can willingly cancel the res. So that's one thing that doesn't completely destroy her. I think people are vastly sleeping on the healing power of her Dock drone. It actually heals a decent chunk. If you get hit to like 40% health, obviously assuming your shields are cracked, and you are the Lifeline or you drop your bot as the Lifeline on someone else, if they pop a battery with your drone on them at like 40% health, they're going to be full. They're going to be back to full within like 3 or 4 seconds. It's almost like they popped a Phoenix in like 3 to 4 seconds. And I think in a game mode like Arena, that should not be undervalued at all. I think that's a very good one. That's not why I would put her at S tier. The juice is yet to come. In fact, it's coming right now. Are you ready for it? You ready for it, Jen? So Lifeline's ultimate got reworked to where it now reads everybody. I believe it's everybody on your team. At minimum, it reads you as Lifeline. It reads all of your guys' equipment, and it will always give you upgrades. They're like always, unless you're obviously like fully purple. Then I would imagine it just gives you shields. I didn't actually test that part out, but it does always give you upgrades now. Now, a reason why that is huge: Lifeline can buy care package at level 1. Level 1. She can buy care package at round 1 for 400 medals. For reference, you start with 550. Gold bag is 250, so again, she is a gold bag user, so that also throws her up in the power rankings. She can buy care package at the first round for 400. And you're probably like, Caustic, why would you buy that for 400 if you only get 550? You can't even buy another gun. You're right. This is where the beauty of this comes from. Because it now reads her gear and her teammates' gear and looks for upgrades, you can leave the spawn. By the way, if you don't buy a weapon in the arena mode, you get either a P20 or you get a Mozam, or when you get both. But if you are missing one slot, it'll give you one or the other, or you can choose one or the other. They're free. So if you leave the spawn with a P20 and a Mozam, and you call your drop instantly, every single time you will get a blue tiered weapon, meaning it has blue mag, blue stabilizer, blue sight, etc., and 2 batteries every single time. And this is where the true value, she starts to come into this like more of an economy support role, and Loba kind of falls under that as well. And I think probably higher up levels of arenas, you're gonna have kind of like your entry fragger, you're gonna have like obviously like your support character like Gibraltar, and then you're gonna have I think some comps will have like an economy type character, and Loba again falls under this as well. For 400 you get 2 batteries, again for reference, 2 batteries are 300, so you know you're not quite breaking even there. But you get a blue tiered weapon, which usually costs, depends on the weapon, but that usually can cost you, like, from the cheap side, it can cost you up to like 400, 500. From an expensive weapon, it can easily be like 700, 800 for a blue tiered weapon. Again, for even more reference, nobody at the start is using in round 1. Nobody is using a blue tiered weapon. You don't have the money for it. So, I think that it's a bit of a slow strat. The one difficulty I found with using that strategy is that there are 2 basically med bins on every map that are in the center of the map. One's on one side, one's on the other. Each one of these med bins has 1 Phoenix, two batteries, and a med kit, guaranteed. Most teams usually go for like whatever the high ground is, or whenever the zone reveals itself, but they'll go for the zone and play position. The one downfall to the care package strat is that you do give up some ground early on because you have to sit there and wait for your care package because you can't fight. So you typically have to take what me and some of the other pros have been starting to call, which is the weak side of the map. You know, the side that the other team's not on because it's not an advantageous position for them, either because of the zone or the elevation. You take the weak side of the map. You definitely want blue bins, because I didn't even touch the passive part of Lifeline. The blue bins, or all the med bins are blue bins, meaning they have that extra under compartment that Lifeline can open, and it's a guaranteed every single time 8 cells. I'm forgetting the math off the top of my head. You'll probably be able to see what it costs when I'm running all the clips through this, but to get 8 cells, 2 extra batteries, that I think already pays for almost like 2 of Lifeline's ults, plus a blue weapon. That basically pays for like 3 of Lifeline's ults. So what you can do, and what I started to do with Lifeline is, for example, round 1, I would buy the care package for 400, and then I would just buy like cells for my teammates. I'd drop them each, leave myself like 2, and then I would take the 2 batteries and then roll. I'd get to the middle, I'd open it, they would have already gotten the battery, or the 2 batteries, Phoenix and Medkit. I'll open the compartment, I'll get another extra 8 cells. And I cannot undervalue. I cannot overstate how much meds and economy in this game matter. The first round usually a lot of people buy Wingman first round, which is 500, and you can't buy any cells after that. It's a pretty greedy buy, but it is a very strong gun. But a lot of this game mode, when you're playing against the higher ranks, like, and I'm only saying this because we did like pro scrims, so we kind of got a taste of what high level play for this does. Which, by the way, I'm releasing those scrim videos tomorrow, unedited, just so you get to see our full blown like thought process, how we're strategizing, all these little things. It's really cool. I think it'll be a really cool video for people who care about the high level arena play. Anyways. Economy is a very big part, and a lot of times we found the games coming down, if they were evenly matched, to who runs out the other person out of their economy faster. And that's just by virtue of hitting shots, having more shield cells, etc. So Lifeline is an incredible economy pick, and I cannot overstate that enough. You just sitting there listening to me, you probably still think I'm crazy, but I promise you try playing her and try kind of doing some of these things, and you will feel the difference in terms of at least shield economy. Now, something I didn't do for most of the playtest, but I started to do towards the end of the playtest, was once I would get enough money for like a wingman, because sometimes you could get screwed. If you leave the base of the P20 in a Mozam, sometimes you could get another shotgun, and that kind of screws you because then you don't have any long range, unless you get like the care package weapon, which is going to be hard if you were sitting in base waiting for the weapon to drop. So, something I started to do later on when I could afford it was, I only did it like 1 game because that's when I started to like make the connection that I should be doing this. I started buying a wingman because wingman is just a great purchase. A lot of the battles are jiggle peek battles, you know, playing head glitches, you know, that tactical shooter type slower play kind of stuff. So if you choose Lifeline, if you like everything that you're hearing, try to get wingman early, or at least a gun that you're comfortable with at both close and long range. For me personally, I love using the wingman both close and long range, so it was a comfortable like all around pick for me, and then I'd use whatever gun I'd get. Sometimes if you're curious as to what guns you can get like a 2.4 longbow, R301, which is phenomenal every time you get it, L-Star, You could get a blue wingman, which sounds great, but unfortunately, all of the weapons that come from care packages, be it Lifeline's drop or the game drop, all of them come with set sights that you can't change. You can change the sights of the guns you buy in the buy menu, but you can't change the ones off the care package guns. I hope that changes somewhere down the line, because man, does it suck getting a blue wingman, which nobody can do round one. Nobody can even get a gray wingman round one, or white attachment one rather. So seeing a blue wingman and then having the 1-2 hollow on it, if you're a 1-2 hollow fan, then you'll be screaming in joy, but I know 99% of the community will not be happy with that. But anyways, yeah. I think I've spoken a lot about Lifeline, and I've probably played a lot of Accompany clips at this point, so you've seen kind of what it can do. I think she's S tier. It does a little bit of a slower playstyle, but I think with more practice and more time, I think I probably could have perfected it a little bit more. And I will close off with, like I said, early on, we were kind of calling the drop instantly and waiting for it, but I think later on, what I would have done if we had kept playing more is I would have been buying Wingman earlier, and then pushing with my team to secure a decent spot and then call my drop to make sure that we at least secure position and I get a gun. And then all of a sudden, we're in a really, really good spot. But I think Lifeline's S tier. I believe Albrelli does as well. I know Nocturnal didn't really like it, but Nocturnal's also kind of a little bitch. Anyways. Loba is the other S tier S tier character that people were more surprised on my Twitter when I said I think that Loba's S tier. People thought I was trolling like pretty heavily. And let me go into detail. I think she needs nerfed. I think she's better than Lifeline. I didn't at first, but the more I played her, the more I'm like, wow, if I also played like complete like butthole during the playtest. I could have gotten so much better clips, but that day was just, I was coming off an all-nighter the day before, and then usually my brain is mush and I just don't play well. But anyways, I think I could have come off with way better clips, and the more I played Loba, the more I really understood how to play her. Let's go over it, because it's some good stuff. Her ult is the biggest reason. Obviously, I'm sure you probably could have guessed that. I did tease the econ side of things. Her ult, first off, isn't scaled at all in the radius. You can plop that thing down at the spawn, and it covers the every single arena map from, maybe not Phase Runner, because Phase Runner is a little bit bigger, but it covers just about every single arena map fully. So you plop, and you can plop that thing down instantly. It costs 200 medals, and you could plop it down instantly, and it does not have a cooldown in terms of like round. It's not a round-based cooldown. You could buy it every single round, and here's why it's nuts. You plop it down in spawn, or you could, you know, go a little bit further off and plop it down somewhere a little bit more tactical. But you plop it down in spawn, you instantly have access to both bins. So that's 2 Phoenixes, that's 4 shield batteries, and 2 medkits. So not only is your team getting that, the other team is not. So if they went with greedy purchases like Wingman round 1, whoever has Wingman round 1 only has 2 shield cells to their name. It's a big econ play. And it doesn't end there. There's more. If you put your ult in a safe place, eventually a game drop will come down and you can loot those guns as well. And they're always at least, I think, purple quality. And sometimes they're actual care package weapons. The nice thing about Arena, though, it does tell you at the bottom right of every single round, it tells you what the care package weapons are going to be that round, which is really nice. So you can actually plan for it if you want them or not. But you can pull care package weapons out instantly. All the care packages are usually in a really, really dangerous spot. Naturally, you gotta, you know, kind of risk it for the biscuit. So this completely negates that risk. For 200 medals every single round, she is a massive econ play. It's incredible. And it does not end there, though. Well, with her ult, it does. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Her Q, and most people don't know this. I didn't want to say it because I kind of wanted to save it for the video, even though at the point that people are watching this, they probably already know this. Her Q got a very nice change, quality of life change. It's beautiful. It makes her, playing her, so much more fluid. You're going to see her a lot more in pubs at least, because she's just more fun now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, now when you throw the bracelet, before you could only like kind of jog like awkwardly, you couldn't sprint, you couldn't slide, you couldn't wall bounce if you're one of those. Now you have full movement when the bracelet's out. So if you're trying to run from somebody, you can toss the bracelet and still have full speed running anywhere else. You can slide, you can wall bounce, you can do whatever you want, and I can't stress to you how good that feels. And to add to it, because again, there's more, when you come out the teleport, before as a Loba, it would whenever you would activate the teleport and go back, it would actually kind of slow you a little bit. It would take you back to movement or standing speed, and then you'd have to like accelerate again, making Loba a massive target every time she came out of her teleport. That's no longer. You don't get any movement penalty anymore. If you're going full sprint into the teleport, you come out full sprint. And I cannot stress to you how good that feels. There is a third point to the bracelet, and I'd have to look at the patch notes because they didn't actually show us the patch notes. We just kind of like played everything by ear. I don't know if they did anything to her, if they buffed her like projectile speed on her bracelet. To me, it felt faster. It felt like it was moving around across the map faster. It felt like I was throwing it farther. But that also could just be, you know, like me in like some honeymoon phase thinking like she's incredible, and I do think she is. I think she's a much better, much more aggressive play than Lifeline when it comes to an economy player. She's incredible on the map artillery, which isn't anything different than just artillery, because she can, at any point, she can just travel across the map with her bracelet. I think I have a couple clips of me doing it, and assist your team or get a crazy angle on a kill. Like, there's just so much versatility with her Q now. It's not a liability as much as it used to be. And I think, like I said, I think if I went back today and played it again, I think I would have put out much better Loba clips than I did. But I think she's incredible. I remember I ran her very early on, and some, I think it was PHJ Dash, if you know him, instantly, it was like the second game in, instantly went to the Discord, and he's like, dude, who ran Loba? That was so annoying. Because it was good. I really think Loba's S tier, maybe even more so than Lifeline, just because she has that aggressive potential that Lifeline does not. Do not sleep on Loba. Like I said, 200 medals for an ult that you can buy every round, where you steal literally everything. It doesn't get much better than that. 4 batteries at 150 each. 150, 300, 450, 600. Sorry, I've been up all night. Leave me alone. 600 crafting metals right there from batteries alone. You can't even buy Phoenix kits, so you can grab both of those. Med kits, I think, are only like 50. They're not as important. But that alone, 600. Grabbing both batteries for 600 pays for 3 Loba ults, in theory, like on paper. It's such a... I think her ult needs to be more expensive. Maybe a cooldown on it, but as it stands, she's an incredible pick, and I promise you, if you're listening to me, try it out when it goes live. You're going to have a blast with her. She was a ton of fun. I loved every second of it. Anyways, I obviously spent a lot of time on Loba and Lifeline, but I think they're kind of like the meat of it. I think they really, obviously, like, I think that's what most people probably wanted to see after I kind of teased it. And that's like the 2 big game changers. I love when a patch comes out and just someone becomes so much more useful. Mirage. So... normally, I didn't get to play Mirage, but normally, so I don't like, sorry, I didn't get to play Mirage, I don't know his prices. Normally, I'd be like, it's not that great, right? However, I did play up against, or go up against Flanker in the pro scrims, I think the last match, and he picked Mirage, and he was kind of steamrolling us. He would literally run at us, throw his ult down in our face, and just overwhelm us. He would pick one person, he would literally just bum rush us. Not saying that's that incredible of a strat. He also had a Spitfire too, so that was kind of cringe. But not saying that's that incredible of a strat, but it worked. It's really annoying. And also, I do want to put, I think Mirage, I'd probably put him at B tier just because, like, he doesn't really do much else. He does have the benefit of Invis Res, so he is a gold bag benefactor. Normally, I would have put him at C or maybe F, but I actually think he's not all that bad. Even though he's B tier with Caustic, I'd probably pick him over Caustic, to be honest. I don't think he's quite A tier, but I do think he's very good. Octane. This one might surprise people. I think Octane's an A tier. I think Octane in the BR is an S tier. I think Octane in the arena is an A tier. Jump Head is very useful, don't get me wrong, but you have to buy his stims. And stim is also nerfed, so it's just like, you don't feel... I didn't actually get to play him, but from the couple of the other pros that I spoke to, it doesn't feel as good as the normal Octane, or at least Season 8 Octane. Having the passive health regen could be kind of nice in an economy battle, but if you're getting to the point where you're relying on HP meds, you've probably lost anyway. But anyways, A tier because Jump Pad's good, but his stim got hit pretty hard, and you have to buy them. I don't think they're very expensive. It's still just kind of a slap in the face, though. I think he's still strong, obviously. but I wouldn't. It also damages him more. I forgot about that. But he's still strong. I just don't see him as like a must pick. Although there could be a case made for like map dependent. He'd probably be pretty good at Phase Runner because Phase Runner is a bigger map, like more open map. So him closing the distance with his team with a jump pad. Maybe on Phase Runner he might be S tier, but the other two maps I didn't think he was that crazy of a benefit. Although jump pad, an early jump pad to get position is very good because a lot of the maps have like some high ground like domination, and obviously if you buy an early jump pad, now you'd be sacrificing it so you can't push later, but buying an early jump pad with him, you can take early position, maybe take even early meds if the other team doesn't have anything to swoop with. Pathfinder. This was a tough one, man. This one's a tough one. Because, like, I kind of want to put him in S tier. Because any mobility character is really solid in this. His zipline can actually get... I didn't see anybody use him. I didn't personally play him that much. I played him, I think, 1 or 2 rounds. I have some footage of him. I'm not the greatest Pathfinder in the world, so it's hard to say. I know Mac had a good time playing him on playing Pathfinder on arenas. I think a good player can certainly make him S tier in arenas because I think his zipline is strong. It helps you get out to any position you want faster than the other team probably will. And his grapple is always invaluable. It's kind of hard to push in arenas because of how much everybody's holding each other's angles. But at the end of the day, I think he's one of those much harder characters to run. I don't think most people will be that good with him. And he still is a lot bigger than other people and Peacekeepers in the game now, and it kind of still shreds him. I'm going to put him at A, but with like a honorable mention to really good players. If you're a really good path, then you can probably think of him as S, I think. Rampart. I did not get to play Rampart. I think I was really close to, but I think one time it got yoinked or something. Some people told me that in the Discord they were talking about Rampart being kind of decent. I could see the use. Yeah, if you have like a mobility character like Path, Octane, and you get to a spot fast, I could see how those walls could be very annoying. Now, since you have a limited amount of them, because everything is charge-based, you don't get an infinite amount, it could kind of hurt her. Her econ probably depends on her buying walls fully every single time. I don't know the price of them, but I still think I'd pick her definitely over Crypto. I've heard some people going kind of crazy about her, but as long as Sheila remains as bad as it is and her walls, I think, aren't necessarily that strong, I think she's going to stay a B tier for me. Or no, they're not strong enough. Sorry, let me correct that. I think she's going to stay a B tier for me.
Kidding, I'm trash.
But I do want to put an honorable mention to her passive. I believe the Spitfire and some of the other LMGs are actually like pretty decent economy buys. Not like they're not super cheap, but you know they're a little bit cheaper. With her, they get a lot more value, so I'd put her at B tier. Wattson is another actual interesting one. In BR, I'd put her at like C, maybe F. But I heard talks that she actually felt pretty good. I don't know how her walls work, admittedly. I didn't get to play her. But her biggest things is she has her ult, which gives shield regen and blocks nades, which not a lot of people buy nades because they are kind of a luxury buy. But I think obviously people will start to do that as people get better at the arenas. I'm gonna throw her in B, just purely because of shield regen. Like shield regen, again, if you haven't played it, I cannot stress to you how much economy matters in this. It's a big economy fight. It's all about whittling the other person's shields down, being able to obviously use the gen and just her passive now, even though I think her passive is a little too weak. She gets a B tier for me. Again, that's someone I definitely pick over Crypto. Wraith. This one might piss a lot of people off. I think I'm gonna put Wraith at A tier. This one could piss people off. So one of the beautiful things about Wraith, and Lifeline, I forgot to mention this as well. One of the beautiful things about Wraith and Lifeline and Wattson, no more low profile. So that's a huge bonus. Not getting absolutely shredded by a Spitfire. And I think there's a lot of people out there that think, oh, 5% is like not that much. It sucks, but it's not that much. I think the biggest issue with low profile was the fact that limb damage did the same as body shot damage, which was a big was a big difference. You know, shooting a Wraith in the legs and doing 47 with a wingman is kind of crazy. I think you shoot a Gibby in the legs and it does like 39 or 40 or something like that. So low profile being gone, from everybody that I've talked to that played Wraith in the playtest, they said it feels great. They said it feels amazing to play Wraith again. I'm only putting her at A tier. Don't get me wrong. I think her tactical is really, really good for this because I think anything that gives you a chance to get another angle or reposition, I think is very strong. I know Nocturnal was playing a pretty solid Wraith when we played against him. He started getting into like rat strats where he would hide in really obscure places and wait for like Albrelli, for example. Albrelli was the one that got fell victim to it every time. Albrelli would, you know, walk past Nock and Nock would just like gank him and then Q out. I think her Q is way better here than it is in the BR. I think the only reason I put her at A is because her portal, in my opinion, is just not that useful. Yeah, you can portal for care package, but it's not that useful in my opinion. You're not really going to be portaling to help somebody up because usually if someone gets picked that far away, I mean, they usually wouldn't be that far away. It's just I just don't see much value in the portal compared to the BR version. Or at least I didn't see it in the playtest. So I think that for that reason alone, I think Wraith gets knocked down a bit to an A. Revenant, even though there isn't anybody, he's not, I was going to say last but not least, but we do have Valkyrie. She's not on this list. I'm going to talk about her last. Revenant. This is a hard one. Because one of the things Revenant does best, is 3v3 fights, because he has his totem. However, the one game I played with him, I believe it has a 2 or 3 round cooldown, so you can't buy it every game. I think silence is still really strong. I don't think his passive is generally very useful, but I'm sure at some point while I'm talking about him here, you're probably witnessing some degeneracy. He does have, obviously, there's the Revtane combo, which is strong, and the new combo, which I think is going to terrorize, ranked at least in the Battle Royale version. I'm gonna put him at B tier just because his ult is definitely nerfed in the sense that you can't get it every round, and that's kind of what he excels at. If you could get his ult every round, he'd be an easy A, maybe even S, but you can't. But you could do some very degenerate stuff with Valk ult and Rev ult immediately at the start. I did it once with Clara at work. I happened to get in a random game with her during the solo queue playtest, and some sheer degeneracy happened. I felt bad. I genuinely felt bad. But it's for the science. I did it for the tier list. You could do some Emi stuff, but I think purely because his ult has a lengthy cooldown, I think I'm gonna put him at B tier. And then last but not least, you don't have it here, but you're gonna see it in the video. Valkyrie. Absolute S+ tier in the BR. Without a doubt. If you haven't seen my Valk guide, you can see all my full thoughts on her. Absolute S+ tier.
This is why they pay me the coach bucks.
I would probably put her at B tier in the arenas. In a hard 3v3 setting, when there's a lot of cover, and these maps do have a decent bit of cover, I don't think her tactical is all that useful, because it's very, like I mentioned in the Valk guide, it's surprisingly easy to get out of. I don't think I've ever gotten hit by it in the playtest, and I think I only hit one the entire playtest. It's more of a zoning tool, it seems like, at least against better tier players. Her jetpack is obviously useful for taking height, but she can get beamed so easily. It's so easily. She's such a clay pigeon when she's up in the air. Her ult is okay for some crazy strats where you can, like, if one team gives up position to, like, try to push you, you can ult and just take, like, the really good spot. Or you can do that straight from the get-go. You can ult and then go to a very, like, I think her ult is really good on Phase Runner. I don't think it's as useful on the, artillery or, it's escaping me, Party Crashers, because they're a bit smaller. I think her ult's good for Phase Runner, but I would still put her at B tier. She just doesn't, other than, like, her jetpack, I just don't see much value in running a Valkyrie over the other characters that exist. Which is surprising, because, like I said, she's, like, literally S++ tier for the Battle Royale. But for the arena, she falls flat for me. I know Mac didn't really like playing her either. A B tier for me. So there you have it. That's my Apex Legends preliminary tier list for season 9 arenas. Like I said, it's preliminary. Keep in mind, this is all my opinion. This is all based on what I played, which is admittedly a short time. All of this could get debunked. Maybe people think Lifeline or whatever is booty, but I know all the pros liked Lifeline when we played with her. So that's just just don't look. I'm just saying. All right, these are just my thoughts. That's what you came here for. That's what you got. This looks pretty good to me, actually. I was a little bit worried how it would come out because I didn't get to play quite everybody, but I did play against a decent amount of them, or some of them enough to know just I could possess the knowledge to know that they're going to be useless. So let me know what you think. What do you think of my S tier picks? I know some of them are controversial, maybe some of my A ones as well. Let me know what you think and who you're excited to play in the comments. Smash a like, obviously, if you like the video. Subscribe. I do have, I think it's going to be a little bit late today if you're watching today, April 29th. Man, my brain's all over the place. If you're watching April 29th, I think the last video about Arena Overview is going to be a little bit late, so I apologize. But tomorrow, April 30th, I will be releasing at least probably 2 more videos. One of them will be the scrims that we played. We played high-level scrims. It was myself, Nicewig, and Owlbloody versus Nocturnal, Flanker, and the Kine. And it was really fun. I'm going to be honest with you, arenas, if you don't have an evenly matched game, that can be a bit of a snooze. I did not have that much fun running people over 3-0 or getting run over 3-0. But when you have an evenly matched teams, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it really tests your ability and game sense and knowing how to push, knowing how to, and mechanics as well. It's still uniquely Apex with like a bit of a twist. And that's why I love it. It does not feel like any other game. It still feels like Apex. It's awesome. I think a lot of you are going to have fun with the arenas. I really did. It'll be a nice break from the BR. I know I probably won't be playing it too much until ranked comes in, though. I can't play these types of games unless they're ranked usually. So, but I had a lot of fun with it. I think Respawn killed it. The maps are cool. I didn't get to play Thermal and Gardens, though. Those weren't in the playtest, so I'm excited to see how those play out. Especially Gardens. Very curious about that one. But anyways, hope you guys liked it. Again, subscribe, leave a like, or don't. Follow me on Twitch, though. Definitely do that. But have a good one. Enjoy the rest of everybody else's content that you're probably soaking up today.